Hello, once again, Chiefs Kingdom, and welcome back to another episode of Chiefs Concerns here on RGR Football. I'm your host, Danilo DiGiulio, aka ThunderDan88, across social media platforms. We had a great show tonight on Chiefs Chat. Hope you can join us next Wednesday at 8 p.m. If you're not a regular person here, go ahead and take a look at that subscribe button. You might want to tap that right now and hit the notification bell. Make sure you get notified every time we have new video content coming up. We're going to try to keep bringing the best and brightest news reports to you as fast as we get them, and try to give you all kinds of coverage and insights on players that you maybe aren't thinking about, like today's candidate. My latest draft crush in this Chiefs concern is Joshua Kaindoh, defensive edge from Florida State University. Now, what's there to say about Joshua? There's not a lot. I'll start with that. There's not a lot to say about him because there's not a lot of tape on Joshua because he was a rotation guy and a very deep defensive front for Florida State. He had a couple injury concerns. I'm not going to lie. There is a little bit of a red flag on the injury side, injury front, as there are with a number of players coming out of college this year. That guys that I'm covering, there's been a handful that have had those same kind of issues, but they've all come back and played again since their injury. So they have proven they can return to the field to play and produce. Now, in the rotation, one of the things that makes Joshua special, he's one of those guys that looks like it's a Pee Wee football game and he's the only kid in town who's hit puberty. He's the only kid who's hit that growth spurt. Let's say, not puberty, I guess. The growth spurt. He's actually really big, really long. He's got a good lower body, good thick lower body. Not crazy thick, but athletic thick. And long, stringy arms, lanky guy, can reach around people. He's close to 6'8", around 265. I talked about him on the show tonight. He was 250, 247, 255. I guess he's up to 267 now, close to 6'8". You got to remember, these kids are still growing. These gigantic kids are still growing when they leave college, some of them. So this kid is a project. I'm not going to lie. He's a project, but he's a project with a ton of upside. He's basically leaving college now. I'd say he's about as good, maybe a little better, a little more instinctive, a little more flashy than Tano Pasnio is right now. Tano's been in the league for a number of years. Now he's got to learn it. If he goes to the Kansas City Chiefs, he's got to learn the defense. He's got to learn the system. He's got to learn the fronts, his responsibilities, all that stuff. If he's a rotational guy and he's learning behind the likes of Frank Clark and Chris Jones and whoever else they have along the line that might be a veteran that they bring in, or the guys that have been there for a couple of years, he's going to be under the wings of a lot of really good guys, not to mention Coach Brendan Daly, who's going to definitely take an interest in a guy like him. And he's very much a Spags guy. He's a longer limbed, close to as quick JPP. He's not quite as fast as JPP, but he's close. And this kid, the plays that he makes, to give you a few examples on his highlight tape, if you get a chance, go and check out Joshua Kaindoh highlights on YouTube. There's a number of different producers that have put stuff up there for him. They're usually around 3 to 5 minute long clips because he's, like I said, there's limited footage on him for the amount of time that he's played. But it seemed every time he took the field, he was making big plays. And I'd much prefer have a guy that's not just going to hold the fort when he comes into sub players to give them a rest, give the starters a breather. I want a guy who's going to make a splash play. He's going to go, hey, this is one of the 20 plays I'm going to get this game. We're going to play 70 plays on defense, 60 to 70 plays. I'm going to play 20 to 25, maybe 27, if I'm really lucky, plays on defense. And hey, if we're getting teams in third and long and he's your edge rush on must pass downs, look out, folks. He's got very violent hand chopping plays. He's got very violent rips. His aggressive style and his length combined to make him a really interesting candidate for that edge for Kansas City. He's a much longer limbed, taller, not quite as thick, but still solid, thick guy version of Alex Okafor with a little more explosion and a little more, again, flashiness. He makes bigger plays more frequently. At least he did in college for the brief time that he played. You watch most of his reels. The first play, it's highlighted by a play against Carolina, who they beat, North Carolina. He comes off the edge on the defensive right side, left side of the offense, and the running back goes out into the flat, and it looks like he's going to blitz. Then it looks like he's going to back off into coverage as he kind of bubble fades, and then he just scoots. The quarterback releases the ball into the swing route, and he scoots out, and he reaches out, and his limbs are so long, he one-arm paw grabs the pass and flies down the field for a touchdown. He's an athlete. He's a crazy good athlete, but he looks like he's got a really good nose for the football. There are a couple of plays where he dislodges the ball from the Boise State quarterback when they played them, and or sorry, not, well, dislodges the ball on one play, but he knocks his helmet off on 2 plays. Never hits him in the head. Never hits him above middle of his chest, in fact. Hits him right in the strike zone, the Major League Baseball strike zone, where the NFL wants guys to hit players, and hits him with so much force on the first one that his helmet just pops off his head. The second one, they both go crashing to the ground, and it's kind of a sideways hit. It's not an illegal hit in the NFL either. But the way he hits, the way the kid shakes, his helmet goes halfway off, and he has the chin strap on his nose. This guy hits with impact. He comes bringing a hammer, and I just think he'd look really good in the Kansas City rotation as a rotational guy for the first couple of years. And who knows, he could be a poor man's Javon Curse for us coming off the edge. More length, more like Calais Campbell. I don't know if he'll ever be the superstar that Calais Campbell has become, but he could be pretty close. And that'd be a special player for the Kansas City Chiefs to have coming off the edge, putting pressure on the other team's quarterback the next time we're in the Super Bowl. Something that was missing this year, and I want to see it back. That said, there is currently a Chief out there who might end up coming back. A former Kansas City Chief, Justin Houston, is available in free agency, so who knows? We've gotten some good wishes so far. I'll give you more about that when we do our offensive player. But actually, this week, I'll give you this week's, as a little add-on, this week's free agency moves. So far, we've, as you know, released the bookend tackles. Fisher and Schwartz are gone. They've recently released Damian Williams, which I was disappointed to see all three of those, especially Damian, since he was healthy and ready to come back and add to that stable of running backs. But we've added Joe Thuney, probably the best guard, I think the best interior offensive lineman available in the draft, maybe the lowest risk lineman in the draft. None of the health issues or attitude issues of Williams and Orlando Brown, respectively. And they've also added Kyle Long, who's come out of retirement, had a year of rest, year of health, year of recovery, much like LDT, to give us 3 veterans to go into the interior of our offensive line. And perhaps Kyle Long might even play right tackle and coach Lucas Niang along. So we're going to have some really good veteran leadership on our offensive line. And here we thought a week or so ago, what are we going to do? Apparently, that's what we're going to do. Go Chiefs.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.